foundational values of love, respect, belonging, cohesion, and unity, among others. As we are all aware that a family is a cornerstone of every society, a family without values implies a society without values. Society is a mirror image of its family. I recognize the appropriateness of the topics lined up for deliberation at this conference, and I can attest that they are all on point towards the protection and preservation of family. I want to urge you to deliberate exhaustively and share the ideas that will enable the realization of the foundational values of the family. I want to urge you to be alive that the fact that the struggle towards preservation of family is not without challenges. The forces against the foundational values of family have agents both locally and internationally. They will try to divide us so as to defeat us. And as the previous speaker said, we should be united for us to overcome these challenges, because these challenges are within us. I want therefore to urge that you stand tall and firm in defense of the family. History will judge us fairly as leaders who stood up to be counted when the progressive values of familyhood were under threat. The Parliament of Uganda experienced this during the legislation against homosexuality. A combination of blackmail, sanctions, and manipulations did not only deter our spirit, we legislated into the best interests of our families and society. I want to commend all the members of Parliament for standing up and making sure we protect the family values. And on a special note, we want to thank His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, for standing firm on this issue. And we want to thank the First Lady. I know the President may not could have not worked alone, but through the prayers of the First Lady, you made us proud in this country. You made us move with our heads up because we protected the values, the traditions of this country. Thank you for always being there for this country. Lastly, I want to urge all of you to bear in mind that the challenges that Africa faces in preservation of its identity, values, and the foundations can only be resolved by Africans. We should have African solution. We should not wait for anybody to come and resolve them. And this is in line with our phrase, one Africa, one destiny. I am happy we've started a forum of all the speakers in Africa, where I am the Vice President for Eastern Africa, and my brother from DRC Congo represents the other side. We should be able to debate on this, and we bring to our parliaments to make sure that we have laws that protect the values, the traditions of African families. Your Excellency, before I invite the First Lady to give her remarks, allow me first to invite the Deputy Speaker of Morocco, just to give 2 minutes. Please come.
Votre Excellence, Monsieur le Président de la République, Votre Excellence, Madame la Première Dame de la République, chère amie, la Présidente de l'Assemblée parlementaire de l'Ouganda, Mesdames et Messieurs les Présidents et Vice-présidents des Assemblées parlementaires, Mesdames et Messieurs les représentants des nations africaines. C'est avec un grand honneur et aussi une grande émotion que je prends la parole aujourd'hui au nom de mon pays, le Maroc, devant vous, en cette occasion exceptionnelle, marquée par la présence distinguée de Monsieur le Président de la République dont l'engagement en faveur de la dignité des peuples africains inspire respect et admiration. Aussi, avec une profonde gratitude et un sens élevé de responsabilité que je m'adresse à cette auguste conférence réunie aujourd'hui autour d'un thème fondamental pour l'avenir de notre continent vers une charte africaine de la souveraineté et des valeurs. Dans un monde en mutation accélérée où les défis économiques, climatiques, sécuritaires transcendent les frontières, notre continent se tient à la croisée des chemins. Face à ces enjeux complexes, il nous revient de bâtir ensemble un socle commun fondé sur une souveraineté authentique et sur les valeurs profondes que forme notre identité plurielle, héritée de nos traditions, nourrie par nos luttes tournées vers l'avenir. La souveraineté ne peut se réduire à un concept abstrait. Elle est l'expression même vivante de la volonté de nos peuples, celle de définir librement leur destin, de protéger leurs ressources, de préserver leur culture et de faire entendre leur voix dans le concert des nations. Elle est aussi la condition première d'un développement endogène, équitable et durable. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, dans cette ambition collective de doter l'Afrique d'une charte affirmant ses principes de souveraineté et de valeurs, toutes les valeurs, le Royaume du Maroc, sous la conduite de Sa Majesté le Roi Mohamed VI, réaffirme son attachement indéfectible à l'unité africaine, fort d'une histoire millénaire et d'un engagement constant pour le progrès partagé. Le Maroc œuvre à la consolidation de son indépendance politique, économique et aussi culturelle, tout en nouant des partenariats solidaires avec l'ensemble de ses sœurs africaines. Le Maroc se veut aujourd'hui également porteur d'un message de tolérance et de dialogue. Il promeut un islam du juste milieu, basé sur la coexistence pacifique et le respect des différences, autant de valeurs essentielles pour le vivre ensemble et la cohésion de notre continent. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, nous avons aujourd'hui l'opportunité de façonner une charte africaine qui consolide nos acquis, valorise nos modèles de gouvernance, magnifie notre patrimoine culturel et moral et affirme notre capacité à définir librement notre avenir. Cette charte doit incarner les aspirations de nos peuples et de devenir le fondement d'une renaissance africaine digne, stable et solidaire. Au nom du Royaume du Maroc, je réitère notre engagement ferme à œuvrer avec chacun d'entre vous à l'édification d'une Afrique souveraine, unie dans sa diversité, fière de son identité et pleinement actrice de son destin. Puisse cette conférence être le point de départ d'un nouvel élan porteur d'espérance et fierté et de promesses pour les générations futures. Je vous remercie.
I need to put something on the screen. Let me go somewhere and come back.
Allow me to invite Mr. Henk from the Netherlands as we wait for His Excellency the President to utilize this chance to say something to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me here in the Pearl of Africa. I'm very proud to be here, not so much as a Dutchman. I'm proud of my country, but not of the policies of my country when it comes to the sexualizing arrogance, I want to say, towards Africa, also from the European Union. But we are here together. We are here together as diverse people. And I would just give a personal example of my family. I'm a father of 6 children, 2 girls and 4 boys. The second youngest is 16 years old. And he ran in some months ago and he said, "I have a girlfriend." And he was very happy. I'm from a Christian Protestant background. But at the school of my boy, with all Protestant children, there was one Catholic family. And it happened that his girlfriend came from that Catholic family. And then I thought, there is much more what unites us than what divides us. And here we are also people from different religious backgrounds. But there is far more what unites us than what divides us, especially when it comes to the family, to life, to freedom, to sovereignty. And you are threatened by the policies of the West, especially of the part of the world where I come from Europe. And I want to encourage you to stay strong for these issues, not only for you and for your people and for your children, but also for the children of the West, for our children. We are trying to defend these issues in Europe, in the United Nations, but we cannot do it without you. Last year, I said, Africa, you are the last man standing. And we hope and we pray that you continue to stay strong for these issues, to save Africa, to save the world. Thank you, also Your Excellency, for staying so strong. Thank you.
As we wait for His Excellency the President, allow me to call Dr. Wahome Ngare to say something.
Your Excellency, President Yoweri Kiguta Museveni, Your Excellency, Mama Janet Museveni, international guests, ladies and gentlemen. The comments I had today about health sovereignty, and it is very important that as we look at the interventions for health, that they must be based on the respect for medical ethics, which are to do good, to avoid harm, to respect the autonomy of the patient, and justice, where we treat every patient equally. Because that must be the foundation of health sovereignty. The other thing that I wanted to bring to the attention of this honorable gathering is that there is no place for mandatory vaccination or for vaccine certificates. That healthcare professionals must be able and should be able to provide information that allows the persons to make an informed choice as to whether to take a vaccine or not. And once that decision is made, we are all expected to respect it, whether it is a yes or a no. And it is based on a very simple principle that if a vaccine is effective and I agree to receive that vaccine, then I am protected. And I have no reason to worry about the person who is unvaccinated. And we must come back to the question of why during the COVID pandemic is it that those who chose not to receive the vaccine were the ones who were refused to travel or to enter places, yet those who had been vaccinated were already protected. The third part is that we again want to reiterate the fact that international organizations must remain advisory only. Anybody who wants to advise Africa must give his advice as advisory and not as commandments that must be followed by African countries. The international organizations also must never be allowed to prevent dissenting opinions, especially those of the local scientists, or be allowed to suppress them. I have personally suffered, Your Excellency, Mama Janet, from the last time I was here. I've been called all sorts of names by WHO and UNICEF, and also, unfortunately, by your Ministry of Health. Finally, Africa needs to spearhead the abolition of gain-of-function research, which is pure witchcraft. Now, gain-of-function research is a research that scientists take organisms that do not cause disease in human beings, they genetically modify them so that they have the capacity to cause disease, and then they research to produce vaccines just in case this virus ever was released into the wild, and then we end up with a pandemic like COVID-19. The reason why gain-of-function research must be abolished and why Africa must push for abolition of gain-of-function research is because it then becomes a cash cow, and we will never stop having pandemics. Thank you very much.
My colleagues, the deputy speakers and the speakers, as you come and make your brief remarks, kindly spend about 2 minutes. The president has a lot to do.
No.
Okay.
I must. They'll speak later.
Okay. I now want to take this singular honor to invite the patron of African values in Uganda and to deliver her remarks, and that's none other than the First Lady of Uganda, Mama Janet Kataha Museveni. Mama, you're most welcome.
Thank you.
Kindly preach to the Africans what you've always preached to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, the Right Honorable Speakers and Deputy Speakers of other nations' parliaments, Honorable Members of Parliaments from across Africa and across the globe, my sister Sharon Slater and your dear husband, religious and cultural leaders, conference organizers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon to you all. I want to warmly welcome you to Uganda and thank each one of you for your presence at this significant convening. I'm indeed happy to unite with distinguished leaders from across our continent who share a mutual commitment to its future. It is an honor to join committed leaders from across our continent to reflect on one of the most urgent calls of our time: the preservation of our sovereignty, our values, and our families. I thank the Parliament of Uganda for hosting this event in partnership with the Inter-Parliamentary Network on Family, the Family Watch Africa, the African Bar Association, and the Foundation for African Heritage. I also acknowledge the steadfast support of His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, who continues to champion the cause of African dignity, self-determination, and patriotism. To Honorable Sarah Pendi, the conference chairperson, and the entire organizing committee, I extend my sincere appreciation. I thank you for heeding God's call to preserve our values and for leading with vision and courage in organizing this noble event. This third African Regional Inter-Parliamentary Conference convened under the theme Towards an African Charter of Values and Sovereignty. It comes at a most critical and continuation of the strong foundation laid here in Entebbe last year, and I'm honored to preside over this important gathering. Dear brothers and sisters, Africa stands today at crossroads. We face unprecedented global pressures that challenge not just our economies, but our cultural identities, our beliefs, and the institutions that hold our nations together, especially the family. Many African nations, including our own, continue to depend on foreign aid to finance essential sectors, including agriculture, health, education, and infrastructure. And yet, we must ask ourselves now, at what cost does this dependency come? And how long will it go on? Fortunately, we in Uganda, I believe, and all of us believe that it can't go on that long anymore, because we are doing everything possible to ensure that Uganda will truly soon be independent for real. Too often, aid is not offered freely. It now comes with conditions that threaten to redefine our societies according to foreign standards, thereby eroding the values we hold sacred and undermining our right to govern ourselves in line with our beliefs and heritage. I speak to you today as a wife, as a mother, and a grandmother. Convicted to carry a burden in my spirit for the sons and daughters of this nation and our continent. Many of our children are growing up in a world that no longer honors truth, no longer protects innocence, and no longer celebrates the beauty of African tradition. What will they inherit from us? Will they recognize what we fought to preserve? Or will they be strangers to their own identity? Yet we are not without hope. The scriptures remind us in Psalm 11, verse 3, in quotes, "If the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do?" Unquote. And the answer is clear. The righteous must rise. We must build. We must protect and proclaim what is good and what is true. This conference is a manifestation of the righteous taking a stand. In the education and sports sector, we are developing and implementing education reforms, thereby taking bold steps to ensure that our children are not only academically equipped, but morally grounded and holistically skilled. The curricula are undergoing re-evaluation to affirm patriotism, responsibility, and reverence for family and for God. We must protect our schools from becoming battlegrounds for ideologies that do not reflect our values. The education reforms are fully government funded, by God's grace, to protect it from foreign funding conditionalities and influences. The reforms are ongoing across many sectors of our government to promote homegrown and home-funded solutions. Additionally, the education and sports sector recently adopted a multi-sectoral approach in the development of an overarching homegrown and values-based national framework for education on health and life skills. These efforts will ensure an African future entrenched in our core beliefs and convictions. Conversations like these are therefore critical in reshaping the future of our continent. Currently, in many parts of Africa and beyond, there is a rewriting of this narrative of sovereignty and dignity. Notably, Uganda is a signatory to the 2020 Geneva Consensus Declaration. I hope many of you have heard of that. This declaration seeks, among other objectives, to uphold the sovereignty of nations against efforts to impose laws, policies, and strategies that are inconsistent with their national values. Perhaps the members of Geneva Consensus Declaration, led by Valerie Harper, need to be part of this coalition because of a shared vision. I'm aware that Honorable Saro Pendi is part of this group. Honorable members, you are the voice of the people across our continent. The laws you pass shape not only nations, but generations. May this conference mark a new era of collaboration among African legislatures to rise above external influences and restore what is inherently ours. We indeed need an African charter that speaks to our uniqueness, one that affirms our values, defends our families, and reduces our dependency on foreign nations to fund the core pillars of our societies. Let us legislate for sovereignty, for integrity, and for future generations. May these deliberations find their way into African Union for ownership by African heads of states and into the Organization of African First Ladies for Development for adoption. It is my prayer and hope that the conference decisions and declarations always trickle down into implementation phases for practical results. I wish to sincerely thank each and every one of you, distinguished delegates, members of Parliament, and partners for your presence and your unwavering commitment to this noble cause. Your engagement today gives us great encouragement and affirms that we are not alone on this journey to protect and uphold the values that define who we are. As I conclude, Please be reminded that your presence here today is a testament to your Pan-Africanism and patriotic values. May your deliberations be fruitful, and may they lead to the successful framing of an African charter on values and sovereignty that will guide us into a future of dignity, of unity, and independence. To our brothers and sisters who have traveled from abroad, I pray for your safety on return. As you go back to your countries, may you carry with you a renewed conviction to rise, to rebuild, and to reinforce the moral foundation of this planet. As our brother just said, it's not just Africa. Please know we have to fight for this planet. And please take time to visit and explore our beautiful tourist destinations and experience the great gift God has blessed us with through nature in Uganda. It is now my singular honor and pleasure to invite His Excellency the President to address us, and I thank you for listening to me. God bless you all.
The patron of the family effort, Mama Janet Museveni, the Right Honorable Speaker Anita Mong, the Right Honorable other speakers from other African countries and deputy speakers, members of parliament, and the ministers, and the friends from like Madame Sharon and other friends, and all the people who are here in this conference. As you may know, here in Uganda, I belong to the National Resistance Movement. But I can see now I am being recruited into the Continental Resistance Movement. I don't know whether we should call it ARM, African Resistance Movement, or CRM. You choose which is the better to pronounce. So I want to congratulate you to see so many of you, almost the English word which is, there's an English word which says when things happen without too much organization. I'm trying to remember that word. Coming together to take a stand against this. In my tribe, they would call it Ofamtuma. Okufa in the Bantu dialects means to die. Umtima is the heart. And I'm sure some of the groups from Zambia, from Malawi, they may pick some few words there, because the Bantu dialects are close. So Ofamtuma is, you could call it in English, disorientation. When people get disoriented and they stop doing the correct things and they do the wrong things. Now, for some of the people to want to spread this disorientation to the whole world, it's really criminal. But it will not work. It will not work. It will fail. This Samoa conference, which Sharon talked about, I heard about it, and initially Uganda did not sign that document there. But we were told that, oh, no, it is harmless, it is this, different groups. I appeal to you, now that you are here, all of you, and our lawyers are here, study that Samoa document if it really contains all those things you are talking about, the reproductive rights, what have you, then we shall have to pull out from that nonsense and tell the EU that we can't be part of that criminality. Because comprehensive sexual education, in the Bible, it says there is time for everything. When children are children, they should be learning about things of children. In the African tribes, when time for marriage comes, people are counseled about marriage. But to get a child and you start teaching her to be, is really madness. Because it is enough concentration to be a successful child. Then you become a successful teenager. Then you become an adult. All that takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. Now to catapult a child into womanhood, when it's madness. Therefore, I'm very happy that you are standing up, all of you. The pressures are, but what you need to realize, we normally say without families. But also you need to also know that it is not easy to have successful families without a country. So I am a husband. I am here in that capacity. But I am also here as a friend, which the Africans preserve. When we passed the homosexual law, my friend Mr. Biden removed Uganda from the list of countries which can export to the US tax-free. He removed us. Then I don't know, economy in those years, these 2 years, really Africa has got a lot of capacity, and we are now going to grow by 7%. Shall be growing by double digits, more than 10%. So you must also defend the whole of Africa, starting with each individual country, and act correctly in economy and in politics. We here in Uganda have identified 3 and 4 was the issue of prosperity. Where does prosperity come from? Very soon they found that the internal market of Uganda is not enough. The internal market is only 800 million liters. So we've got a surplus of maize, surplus cement, surplus, all these products are, the internal market is not enough. You see, we are a bit prosperous now, the economy is growing. Secondly, Pan-Africanism. Love Africa. Why? Because you need it for your prosperity. This is why so the Historical Mission of Prosperity helped us to distill the 2 principles of ideology, patriotism. Principle number 3, we discovered was socio-economic transformation. The societies must change. We must stop being tribal societies without money. We must go into the money economy, and so on, and democracy. So those are the 4 principles: patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, and democracy. In that way, we shall get mission number 2 was strategic security. Even if Uganda develops and becomes a modern country, which it will become, will it be safe? Why? Because we have seen examples in the Second World War, countries like France, like Belgium, like Holland were highly developed, Germany. So, modernity may not ensure you. As we stand now, a few countries have been to the moon. USA has been to the moon. Russia has been to the moon. They are still here with us. They have not been to the moon. They are just here with us. Germany, France, we are all here. Those people who have been to the moon, they are there looking at us like ants. We don't see them, they see us. So therefore, I don't think I would be doing you justice, you young people, to come here and you say, family, 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 family only, without country, without continent, may not be safe. So number 1, Ugandan rice growers, we are saying I should ban Tanzanian rice. I said, why? I couldn't ban the Tanzanian rice, because if I did that, what would it mean? It would mean that, first of all, I punish the Ugandans to buy more expensive rice of these inefficient Ugandan so-called rice growers, rice jokers. I would be punishing them, punishing Ugandans, to force them to buy something that is expensive. Then I would be crippling the Tanzanian rice growers. If he's growing the rice well, it would mean that, first of all, I punish